and welcome to the final session on Cosmic Pathways, the Tarot Meets Astrology, which has been a series of videos exploring the significance of the 22 cards of the Major Arcana. And today we are at our final card, which is the World.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah. So, Gail.
Yes.
Where do you go with the World card? How do you see the World card?
Well, it's definitely a completion card. So our Fool has been on a massive journey of transformation, and we're going to go through all the cards shortly, aren't we? Just do a little bit of a summary of each one. But by the time he gets to the World, then he should have completed all the phases of life, really. He's gone through personal struggles, he's gone through outer struggles, and finally, right at the end, and it doesn't mean to say that's the end, it's just the end of a phase. So
Yes.
if it turns up in a reading for me, it just means that the person that I'm reading for has come to the end of some kind of phase in their lives, and it signifies not only the end, it signifies new beginnings.
Yeah, I look at it like the end of a chapter in the story. That's how I often see the World. The World card is actually aligned with Jupiter on the astrological level, because Jupiter is the lord of expansion, which is rather lovely, actually. And Jupiter's also very benevolent. But I also think that this card comes with a warning as well. Don't rest on your laurels, because because you think you've completed something. Well, guess what? Something, nature abhors a vacuum. So something else is on its way. But how do you want to open up to that something else? What have you learned that you can take forward as you move into a new chapter of your life?
Definitely. And of course, when you do a reading, you never get it in isolation. It's going to be surrounded by other cards. It's going to be surrounded by other Major Arcana cards that are bringing you messages that you've learned along your life's path, but might be rearing their heads anyway. Although you're coming to the end or a new beginning, there's little warnings or suggestions of new pathways and things to be aware of. So none of the cards that we've talked about today ever turn up in isolation. They always come along with either other bigger picture cards like the Major Arcana or the Minor Arcana, which are more your everyday changes, your everyday thinking of new ways to deal with smaller struggles, smaller advancements, smaller decisions, and so forth.
Yeah. And knowing that every decision that you make has a consequence. I think that's been my Fool's journey. That was one of the big learnings for me. Gosh, it was painful as well to sort of take that one on board. But every decision that you make has a consequence of some kind.
Yes.
What I think is interesting about this this card, is that we're using the Rider-Waite pack.
Yeah.
And it's the depiction of a female essence, but she's holding the kind of like wands in her hand, and they represent duality. And our lovely Fool, all the way along his journey, has been constantly rubbing up against what duality means to him. So I find that's really interesting, in the fact that two halves, the two forms of duality, create a whole. And so it's a sort of the masculine and the feminine in energies creating life, a new life. So I love that.
They're also telling us that intuition drives results.
Yes, absolutely. And then it's being looked after. Can you see she's being cared by the four fixed signs of the zodiac, which is Leo, which is the summer fire, and we've got the eagle, or scorpion, that represents the autumn water. We've got Aquarius, represented by the man, the human, that's winter and air. And then we've got the bull, Taurus, which is spring and earth. So it's a beautiful card of that sort of sense of being in tune with the cycles of life and the cycles of the cosmos. And I always think this wreath here always reminds me of the Ouroboros, the snake that swallows his tail.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if it does for you.
I think it's a wreath though, isn't it? And
Yes, it is.
It is a wreath, and
Yeah.
it's, I presume it's representing balance and completion, I suppose, because it's in a circle now, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's completed.
But it's a womb, isn't it? It's got that feeling of the womb, of new seeds of possibilities being planted in there by carrying that wisdom. We only evolve when we turn the knowledge that we've learned into wisdom. And wisdom is always in hindsight, is it not?
It is. And interestingly, she's naked, isn't she? So there's that whole,
Innocence.
that vulnerability, that casting off everything else and standing in your nakedness to, yes, that vulnerability, that innocence, that, everything that's gone before, all the different cards that have come along and caused challenges and so on, and that here you are, standing in your vulnerability and ready to go again.
Ready to go again. She reminds me of the full moon, the cycle of the full moon. We've had the Fool, which was carried the naught or the cipher. He was full of nothing and everything, the potential. And now he's reached this moment where he is facing a completion of understanding of something.
Yeah.
The story begins again, or the new chapter opens, I'll put it that way.
I'm just wondering what's wrapped round, or if not.
I think it's the same.
Is it the same?
Yes, the child, the innocent child,
yes,
in the sun. The sun card.
But it's a different colour, isn't it? It's colour.
Yes, his was red.
Yeah.
Hers it's green. Yes, it's sort of a greeny much more earthy colour.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is there anything else that you want to say?
Only in terms of the Fool, right? I've just put a little bit together, and we're going to create a book from this anyway, which will, we're going to put some extra information in the book. And I was just thinking about a summary of the Fool's journey, and if you'll indulge me, it's only a little paragraph.
Yeah.
No way I can remember it verbatim. And I just find sometimes writing things down expresses it exactly how you want to say it. So I was thinking about the whole Fool's journey so far, including the world, and the fact that it represents a universal path of growth, transformation, and enlightenment that everyone experiences in life. And the beginning, it begins with the innocence, doesn't it, and the openness of the unknown. And then the Fool embarks upon their quest with challenges and lessons and opportunities of self-discovery. And each Major Arcana card is a key step in that journey. And
he meets it at the outside world. He hasn't gone inside yet. He's meeting it in his outer world. Yeah,
exactly. And all the encounters symbolise all different aspects of life, from personal relationships to spiritual awareness to transformation. And along the way, he learns about love and strength and responsibility and the cyclical nature of existence. And ultimately, this journey reflects all our human experience of moving from ignorance to wisdom, from separation to wholeness, as we navigate through life's trials and triumphs in pursuit of self-realization and a deeper understanding of the world around us. And I think the whole tarot pack, it just is a gift that keeps on giving. And I think the fact that we love it so much, and I could every day I learn something from it for myself, for other people.
Yes.
It's just amazing how these cards have just managed all that I've just said, just managed. And every time you look at them, as I say, it just brings up some new ideas, some new paths, some new way of thinking that represents even hundreds of years ago these started, and even in 2024, the relevance is still there.
And it's growing. People love the
Mhm.
tarot. I think there's something in the zeitgeist going on about calling us back to the mysteries,
Yes,
calling us back to the occult. Now, the occult, everybody do, oh, what's the occult? It all sounds nasty. The occult is just a word from which means hidden, that which is had to be hidden because
see,
of history, and particularly around persecution of the church, to do with anyone that was sort of really wanting to discover the mysteries, taking responsibility and control over their lives. That was deeply frowned upon, because you needed the priest to be the conduit between God and you. It wasn't okay for you to go straight to God in those days. And
yeah,
they did a good job. You know, the church did a good job on us. And of course, the persecution of the witches, and
yeah,
whether that was male and female, you know, I can't imagine how many women and men were murdered
yes,
for wanting to celebrate a much more sort of a natural way of communicating with something greater than them, which in those days, of course, they called God.
yes, definitely. And the cards started out as a card game. They never started out as how they grew and developed into what they are today. Very early on, it was just a card game.
It came out, I think, the Italian court, from what I can
Yeah,
remember, back
yeah,
in the Renaissance time. But for me, I think for me, I'm just going to hold up the Rider-Waite card again.
yeah,
I just think the symbology of Pamela Coleman, who drew them,
yeah,
Rider-Waite, it was his concept about how to translate whatever he was connecting with, but she translated his visions physically into the cards, and she's never recognized.
yeah,
Uh, but without her incredible understanding of occult symbolism, mysticism, and an understanding of the ancient wisdoms, these cards, well, I mean, they wouldn't exist. Because for me, I look at the card and there's always something that catches my eye. It's
yeah.
like a portal.
Mm,
And I look at it and I go, God, I haven't been drawn to that before. So she captures utter magic in each of these cards, and people have been copying them for forever.
yes. I mean, we've sort of done a whirlwind journey through the Major Arcana cards, and we've picked up on symbolism that we've noticed and that we find interesting. But it's by no means that we've covered, I don't know, even a small percentage of
Yeah,
what can be seen and what. And I think the thing that if somebody's deciding that they want to get to know tarot more and they want to learn more, that to really understand that yes, you can pick up a book and a book will say this card means this and this card means that. But ultimately, they're an intuitive way of looking at things and
yeah,
picking up the card and looking at it and thinking, how does this? There is no right or wrong way, is what I'm trying
absolutely.
to say. And there is no need to get into that, oh, I've got to remember that this card represents that and I've got to, because to be fair, across books, there's different meanings anyway. Who's right?
But I
Uh,
tell you what, this for me is the best book I've ever read
oh,
on tarot. It's outstanding. It's by Juliet Sharman Burke, and yes, she was a very, very famous astrologer, and
right.
was a Jungian analysis. She trained in that, and she worked a lot with Liz Green, who's one of the great bastions of astrology. But if you want a really fabulous book on the mythology and the symbolism of this, I can't recommend this book more highly. And as you can
I
say,
just must say, I love
I
the
have
fact
had
that
it
so much
for
you.
for 40 years.
Oh
40
my
years.
goodness, all the little notes on inside.
All my notes are in there. Absolutely.
Oh,
I
wow.
just love
I'm wondering if you can still get it, but there must be a version of it about.
There will be a version on good old Amazon or somewhere. But
Yeah.
totally recommend this book for anyone who's into astrology and tarot, or just into wanting to deepen their understanding of the tarot.
Yeah, wonderful. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, all I can say is I cannot believe where the time's gone. We've done all the cards, so if this is the first video you've come across on YouTube with us, they are all there.
Yes.
You can go back and watch all the cards as we navigate our fool's journey through the Major Arcana and our thoughts and feelings on them. And we are going to carry on, aren't we? We're going to carry on because we've been asked to.
Well, we've been asked to, exactly. And also, just to say to everyone, thank you so much for your comments, because we had no idea if anybody wanted to watch this. So we're so grateful that you've supported us and that you're wanting more. So we're definitely going to be up that. Gail, do you want to just very quickly explain what the vision is for the Minor Arcana series?
Oh, yes. I wasn't expecting this. Oh, look, it's all right. I've done up a little chart, haven't I? But I don't need it. We're going to do 4 talks on the minor cards. We're going to start off and we're going to explore the elements. We're going to look at how the suits depict the elements and give an overview, because that is very intrinsic on your minor cards and the royals. And then we're going to do another talk, and we're going to go through the numerology of the cards, because every set of cards has 10 cards.
Yes.
So all the aces represent a new journey, and if we look at all the 4 elements first, then we'll look at a new journey with regards to that, and then we'll look at the royals as well and show them as the pathway between the major and minor arcana cards. So across the 4 episodes, we will make sure that everybody's got a good brand and a good background of the entire pack. That's our aim, isn't it?
And again, thank you for all of you who've been watching this. We're so grateful to you, and we've loved it.
Yes.
So
and make sure you hit the subscribe button to Sue's wonderful channel.
Hit that subscribe button. That's really that will be great. See you soon then. Take care. Bye.
Bye. Bye.